everyone. My name is Asha Saxena, and I'm here to talk about diversity and data, and especially now that we are living in the world of AI. So, why diversity is so important now than ever before? I have to say, being a diversity category myself, never really thought about diversity so much as I've been thinking about it recently. And that really came about, especially because I'm personally working in data and just the whole reality how data can truly impact the world we are building now for our next generation. So let's get started and talk about um, data, AI, and diversity. But before that, let me give you a little introduction about myself. I am the founder of Women Leaders in Data and AI, and I started the organization in the pandemic, especially during one of the talks I was giving, and I was talking about how we live in the world of AI, the world of algorithms. Everything around us is really truly run by algorithms, and only 12% of women are coding that algorithm. And the thought that we really need diversity as we're building algorithms, and I'm going to talk about why that is so. But real quickly, 3 decades of data management experience. I teach, I speak, I coach. And today I really want to spend some time on talking about why diversity is important. So Microsoft created this AI bot, Tay. So I want to introduce you to Tay. Tay was born on March 23rd, 2016 as a 19-year-old American girl. She was a bot on Twitter, and her job was to really hear what people were saying, so conversational AI, and be able to adapt and really hold a conversation. So she would listen to what's happening on Twitter and then actually have an intelligent conversation with you based upon what she was hearing. Within 16 hours of its birth, they turned into a racist and a disrespectful bot. And people who were communicating with her couldn't believe that she so quickly learned from the conversation on Twitter and became so negative. So the question is, what was the data she was consuming and why she became so angry so fast? And during the 2016 election, there was a lot of right wing against left wing. There was a lot of heated discussions in the world, and Tay was very, very quick to consume that information and become negative. Microsoft had to take her down. And if you want to Google Tay, I'm going to go back to that slide. When you Google Tay tweets, you'll be able to see a little bit more about her. So even though Microsoft was really happy to introduce a bot who could have a conversation with you, it became negative pretty quickly. We will all agree that today, 90% of our world depends upon algorithm, from how we interact on social media with each other, or if you want to call it Uber to go somewhere, or stock market, or, I say if you want to order your pizza or order food, any kind of food, we are using algorithms, and our life is run on algorithms, from Amazon trying to recommend us what books should we buy, to what electronics we need to buy. And sometimes the algorithms are predicting accurately. They're predicting what we really want. So we live in this world of algorithms. And are these algorithms fair? That's the question. They are predicting accurately based on the historical data, but are they predicting accurately? That's the question. And Amazon created this machine learning specialist where they were trying to create this recruiting engine to recruit the accurate employees for the company. And there's another story. There are quite a few stories if you want to Google. There was a financial services company which did the same thing, created an algorithm, recruiting an algorithm. And every time you put in there a woman or a she, the resume was rejected, because historically the engineers were male dominant field, and in finance the senior leaders were all male. So when they saw a woman resume come in, the machine automatically thought that it was not a good fit or was a good match because she wouldn't be successful in the job. And that's just disturbing, because the presumption of the machine is that, looking at the historical data, they're predicting the future. So really, what is the problem, right? What is the problem that we are building this algorithmic world, which we are going to live in, and we're going to design it for our future. And if we don't have diversity of data, diversity of thought, diversity of skill set, and diversity in the leadership, what kind of data we are feeding the machine? But before we talk about that, let me give you a quick tutorial on machine learning. A lot of you probably know this already, and people who don't know, it'll be a little quick tutorial for them. But how did we do programming traditionally? We would have rules, we would have data, we would say this is the logic, and we would get the answer. But in machine learning, we're giving them the answers with the data, and the machine then creates the rule to multiply and be able to learn from the data and the answers we are feeding in. So how does machine learn? We'll give a sample of data and we'll say it's a dog or a cat. Machine tries to learn the pattern and start predicting. So machine learning is what? It's a self-improving algorithm. So it improves automatically and predicts insights and informs decision-making. So it will say, this is what I learned from the data, and this is what I predict, and I'm going to help you create the decision. I learned that financial services are usually certain education background, certain gender succeed. So I'm going to inform you that that's a good candidate for you. So in supervised learning, what happens? So machine learning has supervised and unsupervised learning. And in those two categories, supervised learning, we'll say, okay, these are the different balls. This is the weight and this is the type. So we actually give the feature and we label the data and we train the model. And we say the model is trained by the data that's fed, and the machine then learns what size of the ball it is, and it predicts what ball would it be, right? So label data in supervised learning. In unsupervised learning, there's no label data. So the machine looks at the pattern and says that, all right, the weight is, if it's a higher weight and a higher height, it's a man. If it's a lower weight and a lower height, it's a woman. So they start predicting. There might be anomalies, but the models get trained on the data to be able to predict accurately. So what's happening is, when you have the data where all the images of the women cooking, and you throw a man in there, the algorithm will tend to pick the wrong or predict the wrong information. So in this example, what's happening is the data, if the data is not diversified, AI is automatically creating the biases and amplifying the biases. And that's the problem. The problem is that if we don't have enough data, if we don't have enough data which is diverse, our algorithms will not work and will pick up on the biases, the human biases, and amplify that in the world we are building. So it could be gender, it could be ethnicity, it could be, programs against the biases of, religion, gender, age, and so on. So we are building an algorithmic world where we know that we are encoding the biases. So what do we do about this? It's really, really important more than ever that we build a world which is diverse for the benefit of our next generation. It is important when you're looking at the data, you are up to date on the fast-moving field of research. I was talking to a data scientist yesterday. She works for a large pharmaceutical company. And she said, Asha, because I'm a data scientist and I bring a different perspective, I pushed on the research for diagnosis on female specific cardiac disease, which they were not looking at otherwise. So if you have people on your team which comes with diverse mindset and different background, they will look at the data differently. So it's important that you have people who can look at things differently. Age, gender, race brings diversity in thoughts, which gives you a better data science team. Being responsible to make sure that you feel responsible as leaders to mitigate the biases. You want to have a fact-based conversation around potential human biases. As you're doing your data science project, you want to make sure, is that what I think? I think that North is, just making it up, North is colder, and so this is the kind of product that would sell there. So we already have some biases. We have to work with the fact base and the human biases and make them aware what are the biases that we are coding into our algorithm or building the models on. We need to make sure that we have enough data set, right? We don't have a data set of a certain type. I was talking to a large retail organization last week, and they were talking about the population in Europe and population in the US is different. So the models don't work because of the population. Similarly, the US population will not work in APAC region. So think about, do we have the right data set as we are building our models? More diverse AI community. As you're building your data science community, your artificial intelligence community, your machine learning teams, you want to make sure you bring in the diverse team. You want to keep the human in the loop, but you also want to understand what the biases humans are bringing in and how you're coding. So the whole thought about responsible AI or ethical AI is really, really critical to make sure that you have somebody on your team thinking about that. Biases is all our responsibility. It's important that we make sure that there's inclusion. So you bring different gender and ethnicity and age and social class, but you want to make sure you make it inclusive. You want to make sure that their voices are heard. It's clearly shown that diversity correlates to better performance. So if you have diverse teams, diverse leadership, you will have better performance for your team. There is lots and lots of research that says that executive teams that outperform have more women. So you want to make sure that you have the compassionate leadership, and especially in your data teams. It's important that you have diverse teams, you have compassionate leadership, you have leadership which can base the data on facts, but combine that to human sentiments. There are tons of research shown on internet, and I gave you some examples here if you want to go do a little research. But what I want to, with this presentation, urge that we are in a fortunate place of being data leaders. Are we being inclusive? Are we creating our teams which can mitigate the biases? Can we not do the mistake of building a model like Tay, who came in and became corrupted pretty quickly? We know that we can't run away from building algorithms which are going to be influenced by the data we find. Are we collecting the data in real time, having the right leaders in place to make sure we have enough data to be able to predict accurately and not include the biases in the in our algorithms or in our world? Listen, remember, always the biases come from reality. The data comes from reality. So if you don't change your reality, you're coding that in your models as well. So with that, I want to thank you all for really taking this topic seriously, because I truly believe that it all starts from me and you. If we all stand up for building stronger algorithms or models, we want to make sure that we're doing it right. With that, I want to thank you all. And if you want to reach out to me, feel free to send me a quick email or reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you.